Hello, welcome back to Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching. This is Erin. Happy holidays, y'all! And this holiday has been different for me in a lot of ways, for a lot of reasons, but most notably, my partner of 6.5 years and I split. And right before the holidays, it's been a little over a month now, and I can tell you that I know what it feels like to go insane. I know what it feels like to grieve so hard that I thought that my heart was going to shatter. In fact, I felt shattered. And it is the worst thing I've ever been through, 100%, because there's still love there. There's still a lot of love. And I don't know if that's going to go anywhere, and I don't have to like push it down or suppress it. I can say that I still love him. Not sure how he feels about me, but maybe he still does as well. And that there's no bad guy. There's no bad guy, there's no victim. It's just sometimes the road splits, and it did right before the holidays, unfortunately or fortunately. So, yeah, I walk through my own misery, and I realized that I was stuck. I was stuck going over all of the things that I could have done better, all the things that I felt like I did wrong, that I couldn't meet his needs in certain ways. And I stayed there for a good 2.5, 3 weeks, and I felt insane. So today's podcast is a result of me walking through that misery, but having a sort of epiphany of 3 questions that came to me. This is not something I read in a book. This is probably not even something I came up with my own mind, but I do believe it was sort of like channeled to me. And I have been using these questions with my clients and having breakthroughs. I will say that these 3 questions absolutely changed my life. And maybe you can see it if you're seeing the YouTube version of this. Maybe you can hear it in the sincerity of my voice. But I went through a life-changing experience, and I'm not, it's not over. It's not done, but it's about 70 to 80% better from these questions. And if you're listening to this and you're going through grief, you're going through sadness, you had an abrupt change in your life to where you are just ruminating on all the things, like the what ifs, the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, all this, like this tool will help you. And I'm saying that with so much confidence because these questions literally pulled me out of a dark hole that I was in. And I mean, I was crying my eyes out. I was shaking. I was not well. I was not well. My friends were scared for me. I was scared for me. This is someone who meditates pretty much every day. I have a strong yoga practice. I'm a devout yogi. I take care of myself in a lot of ways. And I have a loving community. I mean, even with all that support, even with all my spiritual practices, I felt like I was dying. It is, again, the hardest thing I've ever been through. So if you're going through something like that during the holidays, something like this, like I love you. And I hope that this tool can help you in the way that it helped me because I really do feel like it saved my life. And so I'm so happy to share this with you. I feel so privileged and blessed that these questions just came to me. So what are the questions? We'll save that for part 2. No, I'm kidding. Be a jerk move. Um, so now these questions, pardon me, these questions and the phrasing of them came from the mindset that I had been in prior, which was, what did I do wrong? What are all the things I didn't do right? And so the wording of it might be a little bit different than what I would usually use. But that being said, I think that when we are in, a space of misery and we're just trying to like make heads or tails of our life, that sometimes we ask things in this way. So because I had been asking all and looking at all the things that I did wrong and hyper fixating on all the things I could have done better and was inadequate in, I came up with the first question, which was, What did I do right and good in the relationship? What did I do right and good in the relationship? When I started asking myself, rather than what I did wrong, what did I do right and good? All of this information came forth, like, oh my gosh, like I put together an art gallery for him because like people, hadn't seen his art in the way that he had wanted. And like I would really like celebrate him, and I would encourage him, and I would cook for him, and I would pay for trips and all these different things. And all of it just started like gushing out, and it turned down the volume of all the wrong, and it turned up like, wow, Erin, you were a great partner. Like, it makes sense, right? I'm a great friend. I try to show up. Like I try to do a good job at whatever I do, or I just like don't want to involve myself, right? When I started focusing on that, it's all of a sudden my heart opened up, and like life came back into my eyes. And I started like, yeah, oh my gosh. So that question you can apply to a breakup, like a past relationship, or like even just a situation. What did I do good or right in this situation? Because it gets the momentum going in a different direction. If you've been going down the black hole, the black rabbit hole, like I was, you need a question, because questions create a bit of tension in the brain, and your brain responds to question. This is a problem solving technology that we have here, right? So if you are asking crappy questions, like I was, what did I do wrong? Like my old question, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, was like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong? And your brain's like, how much time do you got? I will tell you all the things you got wrong with you. It's just like doing its job. So if you ask a high quality question, you will get high quality answers. And that's what I started doing. So that first question was a stepping stone for me to claw out of that dark hole that I'd put myself in. And so once I was like kind of like shakily coming out of the hole, I asked myself another question. And just to note, you don't want to stay on any one of these questions for too long. Why? Because if you stay there too long, what happens is your brain starts, did you really do that right? Could you have done better? So you don't want to let yourself get to that point. Next question. What am I doing good or right in my life in general? Or what have I done right or good in my life in general? Again, this gets your frequency turning up. This gets the energy rising in a more loving direction. Like, how can I love myself more? What did I do right or good? What am I doing right or good? So then I was thought, oh gosh, I've been running a company for over a decade with a good amount of success. I have touched thousands of lives. I love people sincerely with all of my heart. And even my ex would say that. And again, he's not a bad guy. There's nothing gone wrong here. It's just like parting ways. So he's a good person. Um, but I'm planning these trips to Japan and India. India's almost sold out. I have a couple people already signed up for Japan. Like I'm practicing Japanese. I'm studying Sanskrit. I'm going to India to learn kirtan in more in depth, more than three chords because it's not punk rock. So when I started focusing, I'm like, wow, I have like so much going on in my life that's so good that I have created. Like I've been a co-creator in. So that was the second question. And I noticed I was like, oh, I'm feeling lighter. Like I feel like I can take a deep breath. Like if you're seeing this video, and I don't like to point out a lot of body stuff, but I've lost a lot of weight because I couldn't eat. Like that is how hard I've never grieved that way. I mean, your girl can eat. So yeah, I couldn't eat. So like by asking these questions, like all of a sudden my stomach relaxed. I could feel and drop into my body again. I had my faculties about me. I was able to use my tools. When you have such an intense feeling comes up, it is so hard to use all the tools. You have to be very selective. And that's why these questions are perfect, because they're simple. Okay, so first question. What did I do right or good in the relationship or the situation? List out a couple of things. Get your stepping stone. 2, What have I done good or right in my life in general? What am I doing good or right in my life in general? Get a couple of answers, another stepping stone. The final question, which helps to initiate action. What can I do right or good for myself in this moment? What can I do right or good for myself in this moment? And if you can come up with something that you can immediately act upon, it's going to, again, remember the purpose of this tool, the main purpose, you can use it in different ways, but the main purpose of this tool is to pull you out of a tailspin, is to pull you out of the black hole and tether you to a more loving space. And so, like, for me, a couple of days ago, I was, okay, what can I do right or good for myself in this moment? Like, I need to shower. Like, we need to shower. Or did I drink water today? Because again, my faculties were not normal about me because of the intensity of the pain. Did I eat anything today? Do I need a hug from a friend? So it also gets you to tap into what are your needs? What are your needs in this moment? And when you acknowledge that, you start to come back to yourself. You start meeting your needs or asking friends or family, loving people around you to help meet your needs. Then you recognize, you remember, like, hey, I can do this. Like, it's a different part of the journey, but like, I got this. And you remember that you have your own back. People can come and go in your life, a season and a reason, even people you thought were permanent fixtures, but that's just not reality. Sometimes even the most loving relationship can end in an instant. Somebody gets triggered, trauma, whatever. Somebody's life ends, like that happened with my mother. It's just boom, all of a sudden she was gone, and my foundation shook. Having tools that you can rely on, depending on what space you're in, like that are appropriate for you in the moment, are so important. And I will say this too. It's important that the tools are not too complicated. And again, these questions, super simple, and it's so effective. I am a different person than I was a week ago. A week ago, I was scared for myself. And again, it was humbling because I had never been through that intensity of grief. I always considered myself, and I've even said it on the podcast, I'm really good at grieving. In that moment, I wasn't. And the reason why is I was blocking it with shame. I was blocking it with shame and guilt. I'm still grieving, I'm still sad, but I'm also happy. Like, they can exist in the same room. It's not exclusively one or the other. Like, I know that I can move forward. I know that I have my own back. I know I can ask for my needs to get met. And I can still upkeep my boundaries and all this. These questions saved my life. And I hope that they can help you. Again, I've used them already with clients, with friends, and I have friends taking notes, and even kind of acquaintances on Facebook, and other people going through breakups and betrayal and heartache, writing down these questions and using them throughout the day and getting results. And so I do believe they were channeled. I'm going to be doing a lot of work around these questions because as I'm using them in my own life, right? These are tools that have come to me that I further develop. That's what I do. So, being intimate with those questions and sometimes doing a couple of rounds. So a couple of tips about these questions is and I'm going to do another podcast based on this because I feel like I have to talk about these so much because they're life changing. But don't spend too much time on any step. Why? Because if you do, your brain's gonna, again, find ways to sabotage or kind of bring down the vibe. So quickly, you want to go through quickly, use little stepping stones, get yourself out of the hole before you have a chance to overthink it. Um, Two, as you go through, you might have to go through more than once, right? Might have to go through 2 or 3 times. And three, as you continue to go through, you're going to find other things. It helps with the unpacking process. It could, because I think just as human beings, and certainly if you're going through pain, we have a tendency to focus on what did I do wrong? Oh my gosh, like how did I fuck up? Like what mistakes did I make? And that's the trap that I fell into. I was like hook, line, and sinker. It was almost like I was like digging a hole and like throwing dirt on myself. And I'm like, all the things I did wrong, I could have like held on, I could have like not said a thing, I could have cooked dinner more, like anything that I could shame myself. I was throwing dirt and shit on myself. And it felt terrible. 0 out of 5 stars. Do not recommend. So, this tool is developed to pull you out of the hole. So, quick, make it simple. Um, you'll get into the more minute details, but as you do, you'll start to uncover like what a good person you are. Like, and here's the thing, even if you messed up big time, if you're listening to this podcast, I know you're a good person, especially if you leave a review. No, but seriously, like we have so much good inside of us, and the stories make us feel less than. The stories make us feel worse. I felt like I was the worst person in the world. And the thing is that like there's nothing bad that happened in my relationship, like crazy cheating or anything. Like there was nothing like that. There was no betrayal, nothing like that. It just boop, split. And I was like looking at every angle of, oh my God, that one time I said this. If you're falling into that trap, pause, stop, and try these questions and see if they work for you. So I hope that this helps. I'm doing more podcasts on these questions because they're so powerful. I hope that you love them as much as I do. They're super simple. And just a couple of announcements. I have 2 more spots left for India in June if you want to come with me and have a magical, immersive experience. In Mysore, India, we're going for 12 days, no, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. And you're going to have Indian teachers. We're going to have some adventure. We're going to be doing like lots of spiritual discussion. And it also includes 2 days of life coach school for communication, emotional processing. Second thing is Japan, happening in November. Let's learn some Japanese together. Let's do some tea ceremonies, some kabuki, some martial arts. I want it to be an immersional, cultural, I think I made up immersional, it's okay, cultural experience. I want you to feel, I want you to live the culture in through the experience of your body, not just sightsee, not just be a tourist. I want you to understand with your heart as well as with your head the beauty of Asia. So, if you're interested in any of those trips, I have a few spaces left. I'm selective about who goes. You have to have an interview with me. You have to do the little mini life coaching school because I don't know about you, but I don't want to go overseas with somebody who doesn't have those skills. And just to make sure, I do have a screening process. That being said, I'm nice. Like what you see is what you get here. So yeah, if you're interested, reach out Erin at erincoach.com. Again, Erin at erincoach.com, or you can check out Thrive Yoga Fit and .com, and you can check out the different events we have. Also, yoga teacher training if you happen to be. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for your time, for your heart, for your support. I love you. Thank you for the emails. And if you haven't left a review on iTunes or Spotify, please do. I appreciate it. And I love you. Namaste.